So who's buying and where are they buying?
The answer just might surprise you. Hello everybody, my name is Barry Horvath and this is Moving Forward TV with your local market update.
And I am DeLynn Gaston. Thanks for joining us again this week. Woo-hoo. We are happy to have you guys here. Woo! I was just thinking, it's been so long. It's been a while that we've been doing the show now. It's I know we've had some changes in scenery and sets and stuff like that, and I don't know. I don't even know what episode we're up to, but I know it's long. I don't know why. And I don't know why.
It's over 200.
I know. And I don't even know why it made me think that, but anyway.
Because we, our real mission in life is to be like Seinfeld.
A show about nothing.
We want a show about nothing. And by golly, well, we always have something. We just try to make it entertaining. I mean, let's face it, the mortgage industry is not exactly
entertaining.
It's not exactly been a fun time since,
right.
the late 2000s there. And it's definitely has its peaks and valleys. So, but
good segue.
You like that? You like that?
Whoa! Because what we're segueing into is the generational thing and who's buying out there and what are they buying. Good segue.
You like that? You like that?
I did.
Well,
I know it's a boring business, but we do try and make it entertaining.
Thank goodness
entertaining as we can.
Thank goodness it pays well. That's all I can say. No,
yes, the show. Actually, yes, we make so much money from it.
No, but you know what? I got to tell you, we provide a lot of good information to the home buyer market.
TMZ keeps calling me.
Yeah, they do. But you know what? At the end of the day, think about what we do for people.
I know.
And they're pursuing the American dream of home ownership. I mean, it's awesome.
And it's why both of us, after so many years, are still in this industry because our hearts are in it.
Yeah, they are. You have to be. Otherwise, you're just stupid. If you do this for any other reason to
or sadistic.
Exactly. So let's talk about which generation is struggling the most to buy a home
right now. Which one? So we all, we know the generational things. We have our millennials, we have our Gen Xers, we have our baby boomers, our younger baby boomers, our boom baby boomers, and then our older baby boomers, and then what they call our silent generation. Which are older. Those are our seniors who are mostly in assisted living facilities.
So we were doing the research on this, and I think we were both quite surprised. And I'm going to give you a hint who it is or who it's not.
Who it's not.
It's not the millennials.
I know.
I really thought for sure that the millennials, the up-and-coming buyers, were the ones that...
Right. Struggling for the down payment, struggling to, debt ratio, struggling with student loan debt, we've heard. All of the struggles that the millennials are having trying to get into the market. Not the case.
Yeah, let's face it. It's not an easy feat to get all your ducks lined up, your down payment money saved, and to buy a home.
And I think we just assumed it was, maybe because of our own children. I'm not exactly sure. Yeah. I think we just assumed it was the millennials. We were very surprised. It's not. It's
the Gen Xers.
The Gen Xers.
Go figure.
I know.
How did that happen?
So it's the millennials' parents who are doing the struggling right now.
I think the world is different now.
It's
changing, and it's changing every day, just like the mortgage industry. So, when we look back in time, now more millennials are staying home longer.
Right.
So that Gen Xer has to buy another house.
That's exactly what they said. So they said, and the Gen Xers are spending the most money on that house too.
Yes.
Hint, hint. That's what we want to go after. They're spending the most money, I guess on national averages, like $260,000, whereas opposed to the millennials are only about $200,000 that they're spending when they are buying a house. national averages. And the reason that the Gen Xers are buying that kind of house is because the millennials who aren't out buying houses are still living with mom and dad.
Right.
So they're buying a little bit bigger. So they're buying something a little bit bigger, maybe a 4-bedroom or something like that, because they have their kids either coming back from college and staying with them, or, saving up on their own. That's why the millennials aren't having a problem saving, because they're living with mom and dad
forever.
But the Gen Xers are struggling to save.
And let's face it, you're a Gen Xer. It's probably not likely that you're going to move home with your parents.
Exactly.
With your kids as well.
Yeah, I know.
Although, does my brother watch the show? Sorry, bro. I'm just
kidding.
Boomer,
the older baby boomers are like, they better not move back in here with the kids.
And then they bring their kids. I love the statistic, though. I'm going to read it to you. It says about 47% of Generation X respondents, and this is a survey of about 4,000 responses, were having difficulty saving up for a down payment. And that's compared with 23% of millennials. So
and we were all thinking that the millennials are the ones having a hard time saving up. No, they're not.
Because they live home.
They live home. Exactly. That's the thing.
It's kind of funny, isn't it, when you think about that?
I know. And it makes sense. It makes perfect sense.
It makes total sense.
Yeah, it does.
When you think about it. So, anyway.
So the other thing is the reason why our Gen Xers...
Who's making the comeback?
Who is making the biggest comeback? That's the next question. Who do you think is making the biggest comeback in real estate?
So even though they're struggling the most...
Same answer.
Yeah. Gen Xers are making the biggest comeback in the buyer's market.
They're coming back. And why? They make the most money.
Yep.
They are the highest income earners out there right now. So they're the ones that are making the most money. So it makes sense that they're the ones. And again, like we said, they need bigger homes because some of them have their children moving back in.
Yep.
Maybe moving back in with grandkids, not sure. I have some friends that has happened to. So they're moving back home. So they need those bigger houses and they're making the most income. So it makes sense.
So can I, and it also makes sense because of the boo-boos that happened in 08, 09.
And that's the other thing. That's what
people lost those houses.
When Barry and I started doing the research on this, one of the things that was the thing that the Gen Xers definitely got hurt the most. They lost their houses. They bought houses in the height of the market. They thought they were doing the right thing. They
thought they were making a great investment.
Right. So many people. And they lost a lot. Well, they got walloped and they got killed the most, I think, out of all of them. So that's why when we started this research, we didn't think that they were going to be the ones who were buying, making the biggest comeback.
No.
Absolutely did not think so. After reading this article, it really
It's surprising, though.
Yeah.
But you know what? They are making the most money. And I want to,
Yep.
I'd love to, can I read that statistic?
Yes, absolutely.
So Gen Xers are, their median
big
income
time.
is $106,600 a year. And younger boomers who are age 52 to 61 earn $93,800, and
they're the second highest.
Millennials, 36 youngers, brought home about $82,000, and the typical buyer against all generations had a median income of $88,500. I thought that was that's interesting to know.
It is.
But
so our Gen Xers are making the most.
They're
money
making
out
the
there.
most money. They lost their homes, but you know what's so funny? They're actually not the generation buying the most homes right now.
I know.
It's so confusing, all these stats, right?
I know. But it just means, you know what it means for our real estate partners? We really have to be, you have to be open and you have to understand which generation you're talking to. And like they always say, pick a niche, right?
Right.
So pick something and that's what you go forward with and learn that generational
I think you want to target
personality.
Who your buyers are.
Right.
You really do. I know a lot of you do that farming and so forth and pick a neighborhood or focus on veterans or public service people or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But anyway.
It's good to pick a generation too.
I think it is. Find the generation that's buyers. So we know Generation Xers are
making the biggest comeback right now.
Targets. Now, we talked about
making the most money.
Right, why they're coming back, but many of them have boo-boos. So we're going to give you the timelines on boo-boos right after this break.
Hi, my name is Joe Stalteri. I'm one of the owners of Complete Care Systems. At Complete Care Systems, we do carpet cleaning, upholstery cleaning, tile and grout cleaning, tile and grout sealing, wood floor and laminate floor deep cleaning, as well as stripping and waxing of linoleum and vinyl floors, and a whole lot more. We also run daily deals and special, which you can find at CompleteCareSystems.com, or simply call Trisha up at 727-364-5158, and she'll answer all your questions and give you over the phone free estimates. Or she'll send me out to your home or office to give you an on-site free estimate. At Complete Care Systems, we don't cut corners, we clean them.
All right. Did you enjoy that break?
I did. You know, you did that big sigh, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself,
Wow.
did he just catch that on air? Yeah, apparently.
Well,
okay, we're ready.
I want our viewers to know.
We got up and we ran. We did exercise. Yeah, that's it.
Listen, we are real people, and we have real problems in life, and we do sigh occasionally.
I know. And things really are going on.
Yes, they are. Phones are blowing up, blah, blah, blah. So you guys have no idea what goes on in break. It's probably best that we keep it off the air.
Sometimes it's fun.
Yeah. But anyway, all of those Gen Xers we're talking about, you know,
who are our number one home buyers out there right now.
Getting back into the market and making the most money. And a lot of them don't even know, because they lost their house to foreclosure, deed in lieu, short sale, etc. A lot of them don't know when can they buy again. And I think they're all surfacing knowing they can.
And I think a lot of them don't think they can buy. I've talked to several who would say, well, they can't buy again. They can never buy again because they had a foreclosure. They lost a house or something like that.
And many of those, even though maybe they bought at the height of the market, maybe activity didn't happen until, say, you know, maybe they bought in 7 or 8. And then in 2011 or 12 is when they were foreclosed
they lost their
on.
House, right.
So now they think, oh, I don't have, you know,
they've got to wait 10 years or
they got to wait
whatever.
the rest of their life. No. It's like when you get divorced, you know, you go on a date the next day. That's just how it works.
Well, really? There might be a little bit of a waiting period dating after a divorce. And there might be a little bit of a waiting period buying a house after a life mishap. So here's what I like to say about.
Or when you lose a dog, you go out the next day, you get a puppy.
Yeah, no, probably not.
No, there's a waiting period.
There's a waiting period.
All right.
There's a grieving period.
So let's go over the waiting period.
And I like to say to people, so you know what? Bad things happen to good people. So first of all, anybody out there who has lost a home, or if you know somebody who has, or had a bankruptcy, or had a short sale, or something like that, you know what? Bad things happen to good people. It's okay. God made us so that we can bounce back again. So we're going to be up and going again, and it's all right. So there might be some waiting period, some time to heal, and what it's waiting for is time for your credit to heal. So the first thing we're going to ask you to do is don't hide from credit. Okay. Don't hide from credit.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. You have to jump back into the credit market again. You have to get credit cards again. You have to start reestablishing so that your credit score can get up. Doesn't mean that, okay, maybe 6 months later, you can go and buy a house after you just had a foreclosure. No, your credit is on track to rehealing if you've gotten credit cards and that kind of thing, but there is still some waiting periods, and that's what we wanted to go over.
Yeah, so let's talk about these waiting periods, because remember, they vary by different loan programs that are out there.
Right.
Conventional, FHA, VA, USDA.
And everybody always says, I got to wait 7 years. I got to wait 7 years. I got to wait 7 years.
No,
you don't.
No, so pay attention. We're going to give you the rules right now. And remember, every bank can have their individual overlay on what the real rules are of the program. So, which means, you know, they're willing to partake in some risk, maybe not all of it. That's just the way it is. So let's talk about a conventional loan first. Conventional meaning Fannie, Freddie.
Right.
You know, what is the first waiting period you want to discuss, DeLynn?
Well, the waiting period, so we're going to touch on all of them. A short sale, a bankruptcy, Chapter 7, which is different from a bankruptcy, Chapter 13, or somebody who has had multiple bankruptcies, somebody has had a foreclosure, and somebody who has had a deed in lieu. All of those things are different. So, number 1, short sale.
Short sale.
If you had a short sale, how long do they have to wait?
4 years on conventional. So
only 4 years.
That means 4 years from the date of closing, and you can't enter into a new contract until it's at least 4 years. Just because you're submitting the loan, make sure the contract date is after that 4 years. Very important.
And it goes by the date the property was transferred out of your name. Keep that in mind too. For either deed in lieu, short sale, foreclosure, it goes from the date that the certificate of title was transferred out of your name.
All right, how about bankruptcy on a Chapter 7?
4 years.
Everything's 4 years.
Nope, not everything's 4
or
years.
2 years. 2 years if it's documented with extenuating circumstances with reestablished credit.
Key, reestablished credit.
Yeah, so...
Don't hide. Something happened, that's okay.
And I think that's an
Jump back on the
explanation
horse.
thing, and I think it can be like death,
Right.
perhaps illness, something medically you had to file.
Divorce is not.
Divorce is not.
Is not an extenuating circumstance.
Even though
Basically, they said divorce is an option as opposed to death of the major income earner in the household.
Right.
That is, you can't help that. So.
Even though divorce might suck.
And it might feel like death.
Or new life for some of you. All right.
Not an extenuating
What's our show about?
Chapter 13 bankruptcies. I know. Chapter 13 bankruptcies.
It's 2 years from discharge or 4 years from when dismissed.
And now the difference, just real quick, in a Chapter 13 and a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Chapter 7 is when everything is absolved and it just goes away. Chapter 13 is when you're on a repayment plan with the courts, and over a 3-year or 5-year period, you're making payments to pay back those debts.
And this next one is good. Foreclosure. 7 years on a foreclosure to go conventional.
Keep in mind, we're talking conventional. It is 7 years.
But
However,
if
caveat.
it was part of the bankruptcy, then it's 4 years from the final discharge. But you must get an AUS approval to get that, okay? What if we have multiple bankruptcies within 7 years?
What if we have multiple bankruptcies?
That's a problem.
5 years. 5 years from the last discharge, or 3 years if documented extenuating circumstances.
All right. What about deed in lieu?
Deed in lieu is 4 years for Fannie Mae, 7 years for Freddie Mac.
Isn't that funny how
there's
they're
little
so-
tiny differences between Fannie Mae and Freddie
All right.
Mac, which is conventional financing.
All right.
Everybody knows that.
So those are the basic guidelines. Now we're going to tell you FHA, and we're going to run through them in VA. FHA, same rules. Short sale, 3 years. Bankruptcy, Chapter 7.
2 years.
Bankruptcy, Chapter 13.
12 months if you're still in. So you can do it if you're still in the Chapter 13. You can absolutely still buy a house as long as you get approval from the court, and you have to have 12 months of good payment history with them. If your Chapter 13 is discharged, no seasoning. You can go out the day after your Chapter 13 is discharged and buy a house.
How about a foreclosure?
Foreclosure is 3 years from the date that the certificate of title transferred.
And then we got a flip. Wow, what is that? That's a whole show in itself.
That's
on
all.
flip.
We're going to skip that one.
Yeah, how about...
Let's go into short sales VA.
Short sales VA, no seasoning required.
None. So if you're a veteran, guess what? If you had a short sale.
Now, you must get an AUS approval.
Right.
Bankruptcy, Chapter 7 is 2 years with established credit. Chapter 13, no seasoning
No
for a
seasoning
VA
whatsoever.
buyer. Foreclosure.
Only
is
2 years.
Only 2 years on a VA. And then let's talk USDA rural housing.
USDA rural housing.
It mirrors FHA.
Mirrors FHA, which is
So-
probably the for non-veterans. Veteran is obviously the best program to get back in the game. Your non-veterans would be FHA is probably your best to get back in the game.
Yes. So we need to go to break right now. We're going to tell you more about those buyers that are coming back in that you need to target right after this.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
Hi, we're back, and this time I'm entering us back in.
How does that work? I always exit
I
and
know,
enter
you
us.
always, I know.
It's
Anyway, so because before he goes on to the next thing, I wanted to just say, so if anybody would like this nifty-difty little chart that has all of the different programs for conventional FHA, VA, USDA, and the waiting periods,
I think
by all
it's
means,
important for a realtor, real estate
know this
professional.
stuff.
They need to know it because you don't want to waste your time with
Right.
someone who doesn't qualify.
Right.
But at the same time, you want to educate, help us spread the word to people who will qualify that think they
Yes.
don't.
I've got this hanging on my wall because it is confusing, and I've been doing this forever, 35 years. So I've got this hanging on my wall. We're happy to share it with you. Just reach out to us.
Yeah.
So now
let's-
that our Gen Xers are cured, so to speak, they've
They're
waited
cured.
their waiting period, their
like your
boo-boos are
analogy.
healed, and they're the ones who are diving back in the market. Surprisingly enough, they're not buying most of the houses out there. They're making the biggest comeback, but who's buying most of the houses out there?
You know what? It's interesting, but it's just the millennials are buying 34% of the market right
So
now.
the ones who are moving out of the Gen Xers' house.
Yeah.
So we have some millennials who are still living with mom and dad, the Gen
Right.
Xers, and some millennials that are taking that dive. 34% of them. They are the biggest, buying the most houses
I
out
used
there.
to do a lot of sales training,
Okay.
and they always say you not only need to know what's selling, and
Yes.
you guys do a great job of that
Right.
in anything you do in life. If you're selling widgets, real estate, cars, or whatever, but you need to know who's buying,
Right.
and that's why
because
this information is vital.
What's selling is only half of it.
Exactly.
You need to know who's buying.
So your millennials are clearly the front runner
Right.
in that segment.
And your
So,
Gen Xers are the backer-uppers.
yeah, go figure, right? I
Those
know.
are the two. So yeah, the young whippersnappers, as they say, but 34% of them, the Gen Xers, are buying probably the most expensive homes. Your young baby boomers, those would be your 55 to 65 or so.
Right.
They're still buying houses out there too. They're like third in the
But
category.
if the credit markets remain
Mm-hmm.
the way they are, and they're not really loose, so I don't like to use the word loose because they're clearly not like they were back in the 2000s. The millennials will probably be buying and continue to buy the most homes.
Yeah,
That's
over the next several years, that's a
just,
fact.
It's just reality.
That's just
so know that
because
when you market.
even the ones who are currently living in mom and dad's house, over the next 5 years they will be moving out. They're in their 30s.
At some point, mom and
They're
dad are going to go, get out!
Get out! And they say that, life is different at 25 years old than at 35 years old or at 30 years old. So over the next 5 years, now all of a sudden, guess what? Now they have a spouse. So the other interesting thing was they're not buying, we thought originally the millennials were all buying like these small, apartments, 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom, that kind of a thing. No, as they get older, as they get into their 30s, now they want the lawn because now they want the yard. Now they're
Sure they
having
do.
children and stuff like that. So they're going to be buying the bigger houses. So that's absolutely, if you don't know about millennials, you need to.
Yep.
Because that's where it's
and
going.
You better learn social media if you want to connect with them. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of these statistics, DeLynn. Because
love these.
I do too. So I thought this was
So
really cool.
We have this nifty-difty generational
we can-
thing.
and we
It's
can-
a generational
Yeah.
thing graphic.
So 92% of millennial buyers and 90% of millennial sellers used a real estate professional.
Did you hear that? 92 and 90%.
That's pretty
The
crazy.
millennials are seeking you out.
Yep.
Go get them.
And I love this. Gen X buyers carry the highest student debt.
We thought it was the millennials who had the biggest struggle with student loans. Nope.
Their average
Gen
debt
Xers.
is student loan debt, 30 grand.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is. So
They're still paying on it. 20% of our younger boomers, our younger baby boomers, again in the 55 range, upper 50s, bought a multi-generational home because that's the ones, as they said, the kids are staying with them or moving back in with the grandkids. So they're buying 20%.
and here's the moving trend. And you touched on this about the lawn and so forth. 85% of millennial buyers purchase a home in a suburban area, compared to 80% in 2015. when in a suburban area. Sorry.
That's quite. That means they're moving out of the cities,
Right.
and they want to get into some place with a little breathing room around them.
Yeah, suburbia. Go
Suburbia.
figure. Go figure. So anyway, all right, what do we got for upcoming things? Because we covered a lot today.
I know. This was a great generational
information.
type show.
Yeah, it is. We like that stuff. So we got some upcoming events with WPBA.
Yep.
The first date I want to tell you about is actually nothing to do with WPBA. It's Shadowfax. Shadowfax is playing March 10th over for the Chasco Fiesta at Chili's at 3 o'clock in downtown Newport Richey.
Yes,
so
and
come
a
out and
plug
check them out.
for Chasco. Chasco's coming up.
Chasco's coming up.
If any
It's
of
gonna
you
be
aren't
great.
in the Newport Richey area, you need to take a drive on over because we have this awesome thing called Chasco Fiesta that's going on, and it's a
pretty.
9-day huge celebration in our
And
area.
it's a great event. And people
Tons of
come,
stuff going on.
It is. And then March 18th, we have the Cornhole Tournament brought on by West Pasco Business Association. Get your team now. Go to WPBA.
.biz
Thank
or
you.
.rocks.
It's $50 for a team. You can get a vendor spot too. They're very
So I
reasonable.
was just going to
Get
say, we're
online
also
and do
putting
it.
vendor spots out there.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And then we also have.
And we have a lot of people come through there. That was like a really successful
Yes,
event
it
when
was.
we did it
First
last
time
year.
we did it last year.
Yeah, it was
We
very
expect
successful.
a lot more people. St. Patty's Day weekend. It's the Sunday after. You
So
can
get a
sleep
vendor
in.
booth. If nothing else, come
Yeah,
and get a
come on
vendor
out and
booth. Hang
chill.
out with us.
You know what? Pre-registration's at 1, so you can go to church.
Yep.
And you can sleep in after your St. Patty's Day party. Come out and have a Bloody Mary in the afternoon, and you'll be ready for a great day. And then one more thing I want to point out is we have one more lightning bus trip for the year. Last game of the season.
Last game of the season, and it's
April
on,
6th
yeah.
on a Friday night. It'll be sold out maybe by the time you even watch this show, but get online, check.
If you've never been on one
WPBA.biz.
of the bus trips, it's,
a good time.
you don't have to worry about parking. We all meet at one place.
Yep.
Jump on the bus, come on back. You don't have to worry about,
All good
alcohol,
stuff.
things like that.
Great show, DeLynn.
We have fun.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was
Did
fun.
you guys
So,
have fun?
yeah, I
Thank
did.
you.
They don't answer. Where's our live studio?
I'm going to assume they said yes.
All right,
Yes,
get
they
us out
had
on
fun.
social media. Share us, like us. We're on LinkedIn, Twitter. What are we on? Yes, 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 yes.
All
We're on all
those
those
things.
things.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We are Today and Every Day.
Moving forward.
We'll
Have a
see
great
y'all
week.
next week. Bye-bye.